This is The Vault Chronicles.
John was a seasoned adventurer in the post-apocalyptic Wasteland. He had seen it all: raiders, ghouls, super mutants, and even deathclaws. But nothing could prepare him for what he was about to stumble upon. John had been traveling for days in search of a rumored stash of pre-war technology when he was ambushed by a deathclaw. He managed to escape with his life, but just barely. John was wounded and in desperate need of shelter. As luck would have it, he spotted a large metal door a few yards away. Crawling towards the door, John found that it was sealed shut, and his heart sank as he realized he didn't have a Pip-Boy to unlock it. His eyes scanned the ground, searching for anything useful, and finally, he saw a glint of metal in the dim light. With a surge of hope, he pulled himself towards it, and found a long-dead vault dweller, still wearing their Pip-Boy on their arm. Carefully, John removed the device and strapped it onto his own wrist, feeling the weight of the world lift off his shoulders as the screen lit up with green letters. He quickly used it to unlock the door, and with a loud screech, it slid open. As he stumbled inside, the darkness was thick, but the Pip-Boy's light illuminated the silhouette of an old sign on the wall that read, Vault 52. John had heard of vaults before, but he had never actually seen one. As John stumbled deeper into the vault, his body weakened by the encounter with the deathclaw, he noticed a faint light in the distance. He pushed himself towards it, hoping to find something that would help him. As he got closer, he saw that it was a medical bay, fully stocked with all sorts of equipment and supplies. The room was pristine, with gleaming metal surfaces and bright white walls. John made his way to a nearby cabinet and found a first aid kit, which he used to patch up his wounds. As he looked around the room, he realized that this vault had been carefully preserved, almost as if it was meant to serve as a safe haven in case of a catastrophe. Feeling a bit stronger, John continued his exploration of the vault. The library stretched on for what seemed like miles, with shelves upon shelves of books and other pre-war artifacts. He marveled at the thought of all the knowledge that was contained within these walls, preserved for future generations. John was curious. He couldn't help himself. He began to explore the vault, and as he did, he discovered that it had been converted into a library by a mysterious entity. Everywhere he looked, he saw signs of the vault's transformation. The vault was designed to withstand nuclear war, so it was a perfect place to store information and protect knowledge. As John wandered through the library, he came across a terminal. He managed to activate it, and the screen flickered to life. To his surprise, there was a message waiting for him. Welcome, adventurer. You have stumbled upon Vault 52, a sanctuary for knowledge in these troubled times. We have designed this vault to protect the precious knowledge of the past, and we welcome you to use it to your advantage. Please feel free to peruse our vast collection of books, documents, and other pre-war artifacts. May you find what you are looking for. John was amazed. He had never heard of a vault being converted into a library. He spent hours exploring the shelves and reading various books. He learned about pre-war history, science, and technology. It was like a whole new world had been opened up to him. John stumbled upon a small reading nook hidden away in the depths of the vault. The walls were lined with old bookshelves, and a dim light emanated from an ancient lamp sitting on a nearby table. The air was musty and stale, but it carried the comforting scent of old books. John sank into a plush armchair, feeling the softness of the fabric against his weary body. As he looked around, he noticed the walls were adorned with paintings of long-lost landscapes, and a small potted plant sat on the windowsill. The outside world was nothing but a distant memory to him now, but the serenity of this hidden oasis was enough to put him at ease. He opened a book and began to read, the words on the page coming alive in his mind. It was as if the book was speaking directly to him, transporting him to another time and place. The feeling was indescribable, like he had stumbled upon a lost piece of the world, a forgotten treasure. As he sat there lost in his reading, John felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him. For a moment, the chaos and danger of the outside world felt far away. In this small corner of the vault, he had found a haven of knowledge and tranquility. As he sat there, reading, he couldn't help but wonder who had created this vault. Who had converted it into a library? Was it a group of survivors? Or was it something more mysterious? John didn't know, but he was grateful nonetheless. Hours passed, and John lost track of time. He was lost in the pages of a particularly interesting book when he heard a noise. Startled, he looked up, but there was nothing there. He shrugged it off and continued reading. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the room was plunged into darkness. John's heart began to race. What was happening? He tried to stand, but his legs were numb. It was like he was frozen in place.
Subscribe and hit that bell
And then
button.
he heard it.
And
A low
tune in for
growl,
part 2.
followed by the sound of heavy breathing.
Thanks.
John knew that sound all too well. It was the sound of a deathclaw. His worst nightmare was back, and this time, there was nowhere to run.
Thanks for sticking around to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And tune in next time for part 2.